is June 28th, 2019. And I had to remind myself sometimes what day it is because I don't know. I'll forget. I swear. I'm in my own head. In my own head, in my own world, in my own reality. I actually realized that. Anyway, I had an experience. Have you ever had an experience that brings to light the reality that you may not be as nice as you thought you were? Like, you're hit with the reality that you're not nice in a certain way. I mean, I think I'm nice. I set out to be nice. I just know that there's certain situations where I'm not nice. So, okay, let me give you an example. There was a situation where I will not say what it is, but I have a service that I use that's in my daughter's name. So when I call, I have to be my daughter. And I realized after this situation that passed, I almost felt I had to catch myself because I thought, wow, I don't want to say or do anything that might tarnish the image of my daughter. And I realized that my daughter, although I don't understand it, really, my daughter is actually semi-famous. And so among some people, she's known. And a situation occurred where I had a little bit of a hissy fit because I'm that kind of person. See, I'm a biatch. I admit it. I stopped denying my bitchiness maybe 20 years ago, maybe 30. I'm a completely self-aware biatch. Okay, I know that. I know though that I'm a good bitch. Like, you know, you're a good witch or a bad witch. Well, I'm a good witch. I know that. I'm like Glenda. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to hurt anybody ever, and I never try to go out of my way to harm or any of that. I was talking to a guy I like, and you know, we talk, and I was telling him that I never do love potions for people that I want to be with, because personally, I believe that the moment you do a love potion, your love is doomed. Because love has to be 100% from the heart. It has to come from that person. It can't come from somewhere other than originate from that person's heart. If it does, it's not real and it will not last, believe me. Now, I didn't do anything like that with my husband, but I still don't, you know, it made me realize how fragile love is. Love is fragile. Don't do anything to tarnish it. I don't believe in love potions. And so that's why you don't see them on my site. Although I do love readings. But anyway. See, I digress. I forget what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Oh, my daughter's good name. So anyway, there was a situation where I was a little livid, and with the customer service situation, I went through several people. They were all pretty not getting what I was saying. And I had gotten to a point where I was really irritable and angry. And I demanded a supervisor. And the girl had called back and pretended to be her. I knew it was her because of her style. And she ended up hanging up on me because I called her out. And I later got a call from a supervisor. And I could tell it was a black man. And he talked, you know, and listened, and I apologized, of course, for my ranting, and told him my stance on the situation. Anyway, I had gotten a $529 bill, and I will say this, after talking with him, getting that worked out, and another young lady, I end up owing $157. And so it worked out. But I think that somewhere along the line, I realized that I had to be her. And that, you know, my old style would have just have been to show my yas. And I don't do that. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just, first of all, I'm too old. Although I did get a little testy and my stomach still hurts from the experience. I had to take a hydroxyzine afterwards because I was literally in tears. And sometimes when you talk to customer service people, it gets that way. My daughter had a situation herself where that happened. So I know these things occur. And I think this whole week is going to be probably a series of situations that are like this, because we're dealing with the new moon being in Cancer. We're dealing with the solar eclipse being in Cancer. And there are some other planets like the sun in Cancer and Mercury and things like that. So it's an emotional time. It's an emotional time for a lot of people, but it's particularly an emotional time, I think, for people who are like Capricorns and Cancers and Aries and Libras and stuff like that. It's an emotional time for us, and so, you know, be aware of it and maneuver around it. It's a time for maneuvering, strategic maneuvering around emotional pitfalls, issues, mind sites. To me, they're like walking grenades, people, right now. And you just need to be aware of that and make sure that you yourself are not a walking grenade, because I realized in the situation that I could be a walking grenade. I have an explosive temper, and I the funny thing about my temper, and I tried to explain this to my ex, because I think the man literally left me because he was afraid of me. But I first of all, it's an insult. I've never actually hit any man, or had to do anything to any man except for him when he hit me. See, I'm from the street. You don't put your hand on me. It's just rule number one. Broke rule number one. All bets are off. So that's it. I mean, I'm a sweet lady, and I am a lady. I am. But I'm from the streets. That's where I was raised. That's you know. I had a little Puerto Rican dad who taught me. Well, I won't say he taught me. My dad taught me how to fight. He sat on the steps with his buddies and my brothers, watching me get my ass whooped and kept sending me back over there to fight this girl until I whooped her ass. I was like 7 or 8 and she was 13. And my dad had no pity. I would try to walk across the street, and in tears, and he would point and say, "Go back and beat her ass." That was my dad. See, everyone, I know, not everyone has a little drunken Puerto Rican dad, but I did. That's the way he did things. And I think it's just the way I grew up. Like, you don't stop. You don't stop. You become unstoppable. You keep going. You keep going. You didn't win the first time, then you go back, you figure out how to win. You know, so that's what's in me. But this is going to be a very emotional time for a lot of people. I think the water signs in particular are going to feel it. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You guys are going to really feel that. And see, I've got my progressed sun in Pisces, and I got Scorpio on the midheaven. I'm going to feel it no matter what. Cancer on the descendant. I'm not going to miss this. You know what I mean? And there's going to be some of you out there that are not going to miss this, because at the end of the month, you know, we got everything going on with the full moon in Capricorn. So, you know, gear up, especially if you're a Capricorn, a Cancer, a Libra, an Aries, a Pisces, a Scorpio. My goodness, you know, gear up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It might be, an emotional ride, and emotions could be pleasant. So it could go either way. But I think we should be prepared for whatever occurs, so that we're not surprised, right? Why have any shock and awe and surprise to the situation? We need to make sure that we are, that we're okay and that we're safe emotionally as well as physically. I think sometimes we forget our emotional health and our emotional safety. So protect that even over this weekend, over this 4th of July holiday, over this period of time. I would say from now until like the 5th, protect your emotional health. You know, it's so funny. The one guy I like, I know he's going to be in a situation where most likely he going to cheat. It's the 4th of July weekend. I mean, cheating's going to happen for a lot of people. Sorry, y'all. It's just the way it is. And Cancer is emotional. So, things like Libra, they're pinging off of that square. That's partnerships. I think there's a urge to partner. I am. And I think it's coming from a lot of places. Like I had like the mailman come up and like he wouldn't even take his eyes off my breast. It was actually embarrassing. So it's like one of those situations where it's like people are in heat. It's also summer. So it's just one of those things. Be aware. That's a lot of partnering is going to be going on with all this Cancer stuff like that. So all right, you guys. Well, I just wanted to come and say something and just show my face. I haven't said much, and I really haven't talked much about the eclipse or the new moon or anything because, I'm a Capricorn. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a little bit nervous about some of the things going on in my chart, like with my Saturn, or with Saturn sitting directly on my ascendant. I know I'm changing look. I'm actually starting to look different, act different, feel different, and I know a lot of that is the Pluto on the ascendant experience as it's retrograding toward an exact conjunction with my ascendant yet again, and Saturn's on it right now. And the only thing I can say is thank you, Saturn, for helping me to become my better self, and I hope you reward me with something good and not something bad, because I know I'm somewhat lazy and I've not done everything right. I've done things half-assed, like I've been doing it most of my life. I definitely need to make enough money to have a personal assistant and a virtual assistant and, all of that. A media assistant, everything. It's time, almost. I told my daughter she's got to get security. It's gotten to that point. Anyway, I don't want to get into her personal life because that's one of the things I'm going to try not to do because we have a lot going on in our personal lives, and it gets overwhelming. What I do love, and I hope you guys have noticed that I started doing, is I've been trying to cut down or edit some of the Wednesday and Saturday night lives that I do and share them, with everyone. I think they're fun, and we have a good time, and it gives everyone an opportunity to see my style of astrology and how I look at the world and how I look at charts and how I look at astrology. I don't know if I'm different than others, but I have my own take on things, and I've been doing it a long time. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, much love, much light, many blessings to everyone, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's been a tough year. It's been a tough 8-9 months. I know for me, my life has changed immeasurably. It'll never be the same, no matter what happens. And I know that a lot of that has to do with that Pluto and that Saturn sitting on my ascendant the way it is. It's telling me this is the time for regeneration, for renewal, for regrowth, and just for being myself and being the me that is me in the most present way. I mean, it doesn't get any more real than having Saturn sitting on your ascendant with Pluto. And your sun, by the way. So yeah, I'm having one of those moments, Saturn on my sun. Anyway, you guys, let me go ahead and get going on this. Much love, much light, many hugs to all of you, and happy 4th of July, my beautiful sweet spirits. Enjoy and party on down, no matter where you are. Celebrate our day. The 4th of July is just a good day to party. That's the way I look at it. Okay, you guys. Bye now. And be sure to like me. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. And go find me on Facebook at Astrology A Look Inside. And also on, where else am I? Astrology A Look Inside, Instagram. You can find me on Instagram, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Astrology A Look Inside. And Adrienne-Obey on SoundCloud and Anchor FM. You can catch my podcast there. All right, you guys. Much love and light to all. Bye now.